That's my question. Never in doubt.
Yeah, I wasn't comfortable with. No, I mean, I think that's a really flattering scoreline. But I thought the Dragons were magnificent that first half. I think we had our first attacking breakdown in 30 minutes. That's, at halftime, you could say, DHL Stormers, you're really poor. But if you tell me where we were really poor, we defended well, gave away 1 or 2 silly penalties, but we hadn't really got the ball. We made 1 or 2 other handling errors, but the Dragons put us under a lot of pressure. I think they were excellent for that first hour. But then I'd say it's a credit. It's a sign of a team. 21-16, the crowd really noisy behind them. In our 22, we defend that like that, and then we go and score those tries. So that's who we are. I think maybe the conditions helped us a little bit, but that we've lost a lot of those games overseas. 23-21 or something like that. So pretty pleased with the outcome. Yeah.
Last thing for me, just to score 2 tries in the last 10 minutes, to get the bonus points. I mean, how?
Yeah. We were scraping for the win. Our plan was, this trip just to try and get the wins. We weren't too interested in the bonus points, and then again we're so tight. Only at 76 minutes did this sort of call go on to really open up and take a chance, take a chance. But I say credit to the Dragons, and then I think credit to us for the way we stuck around. And I thought some guys coming off the bench made a real difference. Not that other guys were poor, but Steph Ungra, Achieva, Jean-Luc, and obviously Sasha was spectacular in his little cameo.
Great cameo. All right, Stephen has got his hand up first. Yes, Stephen.
Hi, Dobbo. I was about to ask you whether it's the worst first half and best last quarter that you've played, but you seem to be giving also the Dragons credit for it. So you don't feel, that the sort of from the side, it almost looked as if the guys weren't 100% psychologically in the game, or do you think it's just all the Dragons that played well?
No, it's not all. Yeah, you're right, Steve, to question me on that. I'll tell you why. I thought we lacked intensity, like even our body language in that first half. When we got a penalty, it was all very lackadaisical. Conceding this, everything was poor. They've got a line on the halfway. We jump across, 22 entry, but I just didn't know. I suppose what I said. Well, I suppose what I meant was at halftime. I didn't know. I know I had to squeeze them, but I didn't know what about. We weren't defending poorly or work. Yeah, it was just. But if we hadn't. I really thought, we're not winning this game, but I'm going to come and tell you guys that was there's no redemption. There's no what's it? I'm blank on the terms of nothing redeeming about that game. For us, we must be good enough to impose our game on a team like the Dragons, which is absolutely right. We didn't do that for a long time. So, but I think they were clever. But if you understand my point, I just didn't know where we were going wrong. And that's what I mean. We were poor, but. We weren't getting scrummed. We weren't giving away 100 penalties. That's the thing that got me confused. But we completely lacked intensity, and I think it had carried on like that. It would have finished as it certainly would have been a worse performance than the Ospreys one, because Ospreys one we created lots and lots of opportunities. We were down on the stats board the whole game, possession and territory.
And a couple of your big players, in spite of everything, really came to the fore. Marnie gets a lot of criticism, but I don't think he missed a kick this evening, and he put over some really difficult ones. Evan was huge, and Warwick sparked things, and I guess Hajiba was crucial off the bench as well. So, you must feel really good that your big players stepped up when it really mattered.
Yeah, and Marnie, those kicks were so in a game where we were, let's be honest, losing literally. Those kicks were so important, especially that conversion to get us to 2 scores clear. I think it was the second or third last try. Got us 2 scores clear, which meant we could open up and go for the bonus points, and that was amazing kick. So no, he was absolutely flawless. And there's only, I think, one short open side contestable after the restart, which I think they eventually score from. That was his only mistake. I thought he was really, really good. And Evan Roos is week in, week out going nicely. And I thought Salman's also going nicely. That's where we didn't make the lock change till so late.
Is it you?
Yes, thank you very much, Dobbo. Good evening. Dobbo, just can you comment on the set pieces? A few scrum penalties conceded in that first half, a few penalties lost in good attacking areas.
Yeah, I was that might be one of the reasons we're under pressure. I think there were 3 in the first half went there. We weren't happy with them. We didn't quite understand them because France has gone through a World Cup where I don't think it concedes a hinging penalty, and to get 2 in that was tricky from our understanding of it. I've got to look at it again, but it was on our side where we were sitting, so that was tough. But that put us under pressure. But certainly the 2 lost lineouts. The 1 5-yard, we fought our way back into the game. 5-yard line, we lose the lineout. I think we lost 2 or 3 in the first half. So, and the other thing was poor about us tonight was our restart. So you saw when we restarted to them, they had plenty of time. Goof, back it came. Our restarts, they trapped us in the trap down in the ground here, put us into a corner, we had to run it forward, pot up, and then we were under pressure. You know, we gave away a try eventually from, or penalty, sorry, 3 points from Herschel's, not going 10, Marnie's uncontestable. So if you're going to say, restart, we all agree is a set piece now. That was probably our worst area. Having said that, the scrum, even though we didn't push them all, the Diesels didn't push them all over Newport, the scrum did bail us out right towards the end of the game there, with the penalties in the card.
Third last question, Dobbo. I asked Davy Stamon yesterday the readiness of those players playing for the first time after injury. Can you just give us a comment on how do you think they fared? I mean, Steve, Angelo, and the guys on the bench.
Yeah, look, I thought Steve, it was a tough ask after such a long injury. That's why we put him in halftime. That was the plan. Angelo did well. For guys who played since early March against Griquas in Sodana, that was really good. And then Sasha sensational. It's a special rugby player. But it's nice to have Jean-Luc. I thought he worked really hard. The reason we made that sub was we felt that we weren't getting, the game was just that sort of game. We weren't going to run around them, which is where one day it wasn't going to open up like, I think if one day been on the field in the last 15, he would have enjoyed himself. And then Jael came and brought some intensity. So I think we brought in our squad depth. We haven't got one injury from today, and we brought in our depth quite a lot with the. So they're now the availability of Sasha, Jean-Luc, Steve, and Angela, which helps a lot.
And then second last one. I mean, doesn't get easier for you next week at Sports Ground. Connacht have a lot to play for as well.
No, listen. Look, I was going to say we have to be much better next week. Dragons were good. I think any URC team with that first half would have struggled against Dragons, but. That's one of the most notorious places to play. Connacht are fighting for a hard place to play. Connacht are fighting for a top 8 finish. We'll have to be, what? You guys can tell me, 50, 100% better than we were today. But we will be. We had some disruptions this week. We haven't had a training session in Wales. A couple other issues, but we've got through this, and we'll be better. We've got an 8-day turnaround. There's no, and it's Galway in May, not Galway in November or December. So. Should be it's going to have to be and should be much better next week.
And then finally, Dobbo, just the URC obviously mentioned this week was a kids round. What do you guys get up to for the kids round? I think you guys were with the main D primary school.
Which primary school?
Mainly primary school was the
primary school.
Dobbo.
Oh yes, yeah. No, I unfortunately I didn't attend that, but I wish I could show you now what Rodney Parade looks like. There are so many kids. Guys, Stormers fans, the most amazing amount. If I say when we first came here in the first year, there were about 4 Stormers guys. That guy's here, but it's just full of South African flags and Springbok jerseys and Stormers things and Dragon. It's an amazing sight at the moment. It's cool, and there are lots of kids. URC done a good job with this.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Lekker, man. Next is Jan. Yes, Jan.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, John. I was actually going to ask you about that stadium. It's a very interesting stadium, very, very old school. Looks like it hasn't changed since 1994 when we were there with the Springboks.
I don't think. Look, there's a guy, there's a gentleman from the Dragons. The stadium hasn't changed. Look, the seating's there. It's a nice hospitality, but it's one of rugby's great. I mean, they're standing on the North Terrace or the North. Is it the North Terrace? There's still standing area. There's these pie shops. It's so the singing. There's no roof on the main stand where we sit. It's magic, and such a nice romantic name, isn't it? Rodney Parade. It takes you back to the days of Newport and Newport and all the best of Welsh rugby. So, I hope that, and it's the best playing surfaces in the competition. So no, I don't think it's changed in '94.
Well,
the way it changed. Look, they're absolute pricks here because Their home changing room looks like Manchester United, and our one, I promise you, even I could lie down and touch both sides of it. It's amazing. So it's old school. It's lekker. It's good.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, you walk from the station, you guys obviously drive with a bus or something, but we walk from the station and you just walk with the crowd. It's like literally going to a club game, but I love it. I mean,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, much better with respect to us. We go to that antisepticswansea.com, where there's nobody there. This is the Rodney parade, and the bar's called where I'm going now, called the Rodney bar, and all that. So it's wonderful. It's a cherished thing. Like there's a hybrid of it. You're right, probably our old club ground in Newlands, but it certainly fits the occasion.
I'm old enough to enjoy those kind of grounds, John.
Yeah. There's a pie and a beer with your name on it here, Jan.
That's it. And where's it? A plane ticket.
Okay, ask Mike to freeze.
Yeah. Okay. Serious question.
Yeah.
You got your thing in your own hands now. Your destiny in your own hands now. I mean, you needed that 5 points, and now you within touching distance of a top 4 finish.
Look, I think the top 4 probably went when we lost to the Ospreys, but we'll keep fighting. But yeah, Munster won everything on the way last time. I know it's clutching in a bit of straws, but yeah, we put ourselves in the picture in the frame for it now, don't we? And what we just couldn't have happen is not be in the top 8 in the playoffs. Yeah, there's nobody we're really scared of in this competition, that we'd be scared of going away to or anything like that. Yeah, when we feel confident and we find. So so if we lost today, I think that would have been really dramatic for us, and it was a long time it looked like we were going to. But no, we're in the fight now. Some of the results go away, we could finish the top 4, which would be great. We've hosted every playoff game we can. But our focus is actually experiences like this where we can start winning away, because I think you'd all agree that game, the Stormers away, usually that's lost 23-21. So, yeah, we're going to have to. It's right a grondpad, but that's why today was important for us.
Yeah. I think the one, and it's just by the by, but I think the one thing that everybody misses is that it's actually a top 7 finish, because if the Sharks win the Challenge Cup, they go through, then one of the URC teams fall out.
You're 100% right. We've actually talked about it on Monday. You did right, Jan. And I really think the Sharks will beat Gloucester, so it is a top 7. In terms of Champions Cup, I suppose we want to be top 8 in playoffs. Yeah, no, we want to be top 7. You did right. But we can't not be playing rugby after the 1st of June. So, yeah, it's pretty up. But you're right. The Sharks are going to beat Gloucester, but I think they're plenty good enough for that, which is great.
Good stuff. John, thanks, man. And
Okay.
drink a beer on my behalf. One of those dirty brown stuffs.
What's it called? What's the beer? The Doom. What's your beer? The Doom Bar. The Doom Bar Ale. One for you, Jan.
But for me,
It's going to be warm and it's going to be brown.
Yeah. And no gas. Nothing.
No guess. Cheers, John.
Cheers, boys.
Okay, we got Leeds and last, and then we're gonna end. Yes, Leeds.
Thanks, Mikey. Hi, Dobbo.
Hi, Leeds.
Dobbo, just on the changes you guys made, you mentioned there was a bit of unforeseen circumstances and all. But do you now revert back to the teams that's been doing it good for you guys, or do you persist with some of the guys that you've been giving chances, especially looking at next week, and then you're gonna have a break before the Lions, but the last 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Gaza will come back in. A guy like Marcel will come back in. But we actually have, we've actually grown through a bit closer to what we when we got ourselves in trouble against the Ospreys, we've sort of lost a bit of the luxury of rotation. I think Paul de Vet's injury has been Steph Ungar is going to run, which is very good for us. I think maybe we made that sub late tonight. But we're going to choose what we think is our best team every week. Not quite sure about where we are at loose head. Not quite sure where we are at tight end in terms of who starts. That'll probably be rotated. And then, I think Marcel will come back and we might end up back in a 6-2. The thing with a 6-2 is you've got a Wanda Sealer and you've got a Silla and you've got a Sasha. But we will. The short answer is the best player, that what we think is the best, go back on the field. So Damien will be back next week. The rest we've got to sort out.
Thanks. You answered that tight end and question. But just lastly, what are you looking for in that game in Galway? You guys, like you said, you didn't you just didn't get started. You didn't get going. So is there something else in your play that needs to get better, or is it just that getting the fire started from minute one?
No, but I don't know how we started the fire. Like I said, the first attacking breakdown, like other than the exit breakdowns, was 30 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen that. I think where our mistake was, we were quite conservative and we got into that sort of kick tennis. Warwick and Marnie were just going. We actually lost all those battles. I know one Warwick just fumbled it and went out, but I think we've got to be braver than pulling the trigger, running it into the guys and asking some questions of their defense. So running it back into the chase line and having two sides to attack or even a kick again from. But that was really, I think we're very conservative at the start of this game and sort of patient. And so if you're saying we get fired up earlier and more aggressive earlier in the way we play, I think you're 100% right. That's how we fed the Dragons. We didn't play any rugby to start with, and it wasn't the plan. Definitely wasn't the plan.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thanks,
No, you spot on. You did right. Did right. Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, Dobbo. We've got one last question from Ati, and then we're done. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, Dobbo. How are you?
It's all right for you.
Good, Dobbo. Dobbo, I mean, winning in this sort of nature, whereby in a game it was quite difficult in the first half, and also again the environment was quite tense. Does it sort of speak volumes about the character of the team and sort of their experience that they've gained over the last couple of seasons?
I think you're spot on. I was sitting there. I think all the coaches' box was very quiet. We were in purgatory. I can't believe this is happening. What's this game so important for us? And the team seemed to have much more confidence in us. I think the big turning moment wasn't actually the attack stuff. It was when they got back into our 22, when they were 21-16 up, I think, and we held them out. And there were some immense tackles, and you could just see this team saying, "Okay, enough's enough now." And that was really, the piece of winning away, and secondly, the character. We saw the Stormers fight. And we saw the Stormers transitions, and we saw them away, which might sound silly, but it's important to us. So that was, really, really I'll give them credit, because I think in the coaches' box we would have been a little bit more, we're a little bit more panicked than the players. They did very well to turn that around at the end there, like I said, for those reasons.
So how important was it again to just have an effort from the whole 23, in terms of everyone being in sync and just chipping in during that whole 80 minutes?
Yeah, I think maybe made some of the subs too late. Maybe an indication that we were worried or panicking a bit in the coach's box. I don't think we were calm because we just saw this sort of Titanic sinking in front of us. But those guys all made a difference. Andre made a great call for that maul try. Sasha, you saw yourself. JL, you worked and was physical. Achiever carried so well. He almost so it was. They made a difference. I think possibly in retrospect they were a bit late, but that's easy in retrospect.